Good morning. You guys ready? All right, good morning. Let me find the music. Thank you, royalty-free instrumental heavy metal on YouTube. So, hey, welcome to Forex.Today. It is a Thursday. It's a Thursday the 19th of November, I think. So it's a lucky day. It's such a great day. This is a great day to get together as a community of 16,500 foreign exchange traders. Let's talk technical analysis. Let's talk fundamental analysis. Let's do yen pairs, dollar pairs, gold, oil, Bitcoin, and whatever you want. Just make sure you ask in the chat, and I will do my best to serve. Let's go! So let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So, ni hao ma. Good morning, how are you? My name is Wayne, I'm a currency trader. Been doing this a couple of decades, so that's good. Like I said in the intro, please ask questions, take notes. Look at this as an opportunity to grab some serious value. You control the course of the next 90 minutes or so, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I'll talk about whatever you want me to talk about, and maybe even some things you didn't want me to talk about. But you are the boss. You are in control. So the raison d'etre for us to get together is for me to share my experiences, good or bad, with the overall goal of helping you learn how to put together trade plans. Okay, this is not about what's happening right this second. This is not about what happened a week ago or a day ago. This is about what's likely to happen the rest of the day, tomorrow, and next week. So think about that. It's all about trade planning. So, very cool. If you need a broker, the link is in the description below. Tradersway.com offers you narrow spreads, fast execution speed, wide swaps. If you want an ECN account, guess what? ECN fees are half price right now because of COVID. If you want a fixed spread account because you're a scalper, you can get that. If you want a variable spread account, you can have that. If you want MT4, MT5, C-Trader, all of that is at tradersway.com. Plus, world-class customer service. But that sounds like an ad, doesn't it? So how about this? You're going to have a successful Forex trading business, and you need business partners, not in the sense of like an investor, but an execution partner. You need to have a broker. In fact, you need to have a broker you trust. And think about the type of people that get involved and say, you know what, we want to have successful, quality, educated clients. We want them to stick around for years and years and years and trade and slowly grow their trading account. It's not about churn and burn a bunch of amateur retail traders like many of the big bucket shops. So just think about that. Is that the type of person or organization you want to be part of your successful Forex trading business? Someone that is investing into you up front? Think about that. It's a good business model that they have. Maybe they're smart. So, tradersway.com. Also, I wrote a book years ago. The link is in the description below. FX Bootcamp has videos and live training. The link is in the description below. If you like my chart templates, the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. What link? Yeah, all of them in the description below. All right. Greetings, Earthlings. Here's that scalp we did the other day. What do you stink? Isn't that neat? All right. Next thing we should probably do is say, right? And say, from the short-term point of view, let's drop this into singularity. What has occurred over some time is that you drop, then did the rise, and then you get the double top, and then the drop, right? And at some point, especially if you're a bull, I would suggest practicing, recognizing when things might have changed. I mean, it may have changed on the hour, may not have changed on the daily or the weekly, so it really depends on your analysis. But I often see people, they lose most of the money when they keep adding, not to losers, but to winners that have become losers, right? So you got to, what part of the technical analysis tells you to be concerned, okay? Okay, at some point you're going to have to say, it doesn't look like it wants to make a higher high. Capiche? Because like it tried at least 3 times there, at least 2 more times, okay? And now we've breached a neckline, okay? And here's the new neckline. So, All right. By the way, it's like 6 or 7 espresso pots in every cup of coffee. Wowzer. But the keto diet's pretty interesting, isn't it? So I have a cup of coffee in the morning at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't get hungry till about 1. Okay. Tried coffee with vanilla? Sounds terrible. Unless you grew the vanilla beans yourself. And then I'd say, oh, this is so good. No, I like the taste of coffee. And so even adding this keto crap in there, the brain oil and the lumps of ghee, even then it's like kind of, I don't like cream in my coffee. I like black coffee. Let's put it that way. Put it this way, I don't flavor my coffee, but I put coffee on my steak to flavor my steak. So it just gives you... Anyways, la-di-da-di-da. So another way of maybe looking at this is like maybe if you had this fibbed. Okay, 3A2 fail, 50% fail, 618. Dude, it's got to go up now or it's over. Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. Brain Octane Bulletproof. So I got the Brain Octane, and then it's got ghee. It's something like 20 grams of fat. Okay. How about day trade Aussie dollar? Yeah, to the downside, that looks like that makes sense. So, right? I mean, day trading is like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's go out here. And the first thing we have to recognize is what set us up for the scalp. By the way, did you guys enjoy that scalp? We put it together on a 4-hour, dropped into the 1 hour, dropped into a 15, dropped into a 5. And what was my advice to you? My advice is it's pathetic to only make 30 pips on a trade because your trades are worth more. You're like, well, Wayne, 30 pips is pretty good. What do you mean I'm pathetic? I didn't say you're pathetic. I said, if your trade plans are valuable, picking up 30 pips is pathetic because they're probably worth hundreds of pips. So it'd be very disappointing to take the risk and throw away the reward. That's the part I'm saying. And if you recall, the idea that, if you're going to make big money trading Forex, it's not because you bet big money. It's not because you have a big lot size. It's because your planning is so good, your trades are worth a lot. You see what I mean? So here's an example of this now being worth significantly more. So, right? So where we were 73.20 or something like that, and now it's like 72.70. So already it's worth more. Oh, thanks, Shuggy. Sugar sweet. Yeah, thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. But no one's answering my question, so I guess nobody remembers the scalp from like 2 days ago. Okay, now. So we call this a double top of a double top. Okay, pretty standard stuff. Jim remembers everything. Yeah, thank you, Jim. Yeah, I need a cure for COVID, right? So UK showing that they have a phase 2 drug helps older people, which is great. That's the target, right? But I'm hoping for it because I made a small purchase for next year. I decided to take my dad to the Masters, and I'm like, well, COVID's a bit of a risk. But we're going to go to the Masters in 2021 in April. And so hopefully, we have some sort of cure or treatment so that we can get together in crowds. Or it'd be kind of interesting to go there. So like this year, they delayed the tournament and then they played it with no gallery, no fans attended this year. They just did it over the weekend. So I'm like, you know what? I got to get on that. So I made some phone calls because the thing with going to the Masters is they don't sell tickets. So how do you go to the Masters if they don't sell tickets? Shh. So anyway, so I'm hoping that either there's a cure and there's less stress, or they just let a heck of a lot less people in and they're like, well, you have to stay socially distant. And I'm like, that's cool, man. I'd love to go to the Masters and have half the crowd. And the Masters already small because there's no tickets, it's only members. So it's already a small audience. So to have half the normal audience, I think that'd be killer. But any golf fans here? Yeah, DJ got it. Yeah. Yeah. So like if you don't know golf, like that is the best one in the entire like that's it. That's the pinnacle of golf. So that's going to be really cool because it's only 3 hours from my house, so very neat. But we're staying. Oh, that's the other thing. We're staying in this the original house. So back in, I think the house was built during the Civil War. So like I think the house was built in 1863 and became an orchard. And later on, Bobby Jones came along and he needed to buy some land near Augusta because if you know sports history, New Yorkers would come down from New York in the spring to go to Florida by New Yorkers, I mean the press corps, right? The press would take the train all the way down to Florida and do press coverage of baseball spring training. Well, on the way home from spring training, one of the stops coming up from Florida, like they'd come up all the way to Florida, they'd be on the train for 10 hours. Then they get to Augusta, Georgia, and they have to spend the night. So Bobby Jones is like, well, I'm going to build an awesome golf course there, and all the PR people, right, all the sports reporters are going to be locked in town. So I'm like, well, why don't you spend a day or two and hang out in Augusta and cover our golf tournament? Like, he's smart, right? Bobby Jones. So anyway, that's where Augusta came from, right? So that house, the original farmhouse, that's where my dad and I are staying. And they built Augusta National on top of its original huge tracts of land, right? And so now it's like 3 acres with a little house. But they have like, I think the top 50 ranked chef in the United States is going to cook our meals and stuff. It's going to be killer. So anyways, cure for COVID. Come on, man. Cure for COVID. So anyways, keep dad happy, man. Keep your papa happy. All right. So let's not start here. Let's start on the indices. Okay, Aussie in the middle. Euro has lost some. Kitty cat is still weak. Son of a. Euro is still strong. I mean, dollar is still strong. Yen is still strong. Son of a. Dollar is weak, but in between right now. Swissy is weak, but kind of flattened out. Kiwi is like meh. And pound. Okay. Here's the way you might want to look at this. Nothing's happening now, but in 2 hours there will be something. Okay? Keisha says, hey, the Aussie jobs was good, but it came down. Well, there's a couple of things. Aussie dollar tends to be a scalp on Aussie jobs, right? I've trained myself if it pops and I make 50 to 100 pips. Now, nothing pops like that anymore, but in the old days, you could very quickly an Aussie jobs report make 100 pips. And then I've trained myself over the years to take the profit. That no matter how amazing it looks, it's not going to run. So there's a lot of sort of trade in that. Okay, there's a lot of trade just in that pair or that currency. Also, there's this idea of if things are not as bad as we thought, then there's no need for stimulus of any kind. Or continued free money from the government and all that kind of stuff. So as I explained the other day, we're in a trough where things have been really bad and things are still currently bad. But 6 months from now, it won't be as bad. So all that free money that we have priced into our trades ain't going to happen. And so Australia is kind of suffering through all the same thing. We're all going through the same thing. Okay? So Aussie jobs... And this is interesting. We did talk about this a few months ago, too, about behavioral finance. Good news can be bad, and bad news can be good. See, if the jobs report was horrible, then people would say, oh, that's horrible. The government's going to step in and give us free money, so the Aussie pops. Or whatever. You know, bad in horrible situations is great. Bad in good situations, they're like, no, that's just no news at all. So bad news could be like meaningless as well. So it's always in the context, right? Thank you, Dakota. Okay, so there's that, right? Your customer says, hey, what's in 2 hours? Because I said, well, we know in 2 hours this stuff will move. There isn't a what, there's only a why. Okay? Why would this suddenly move? Well, why do we gather this time of day? If you can understand that answer, then you understand why I believe the market. So your customer, do you want to take a guess? Why do we meet today, this time of day? Yeah. Yeah. Why do we meet at 8? Yeah. So that's the answer. New money's coming in. So for example, the London boys made their money, then they went to lunch, and now they've come back to the office and they're getting ready for the next trade. New Yorkers are coming in and they're like, oh, what are we going to do today? Let's look for our first trade. Okay, we have news typically comes out around 8:30, 9:30 the stock market opens, and by 11 you should be taking profit and you're done. You plausibly booked most of your profit for the day at the London close. It's not most things, all right? Iran says most things happen around now. No, I wouldn't say most things. It's just flow. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, but I think that traders will want to trade. Now, they might look at the charts and say, not under these conditions. Okay, then less people trade. But generally speaking, I think options traders are going to trade options. Commodity traders are going to trade commodities. Stock traders are going to trade stocks. Bond traders are going to trade bonds. Currency traders are going to trade currencies. I think they're going to come in and throw some money down. Therefore, the value of money is likely to change. Well, if they're investing overseas or overseas investors are investing here. So that's all. So is there a particular an event? Like, is there a particular news that comes out that would move it? Well, yeah, maybe, but that's not why I said it. Okay? So, what do we want to do here? Well, let's start with commodities. My oh my, WTI. Okay. What's the best time of day I suggest trading? It's a 15-minute chart. Yeah, that's about right. It's actually not 8 a.m., not for oil. So go back and watch the video I did Monday, I think. YouTube.com/Forex.Today. La la la. How to trade oil. Boom. Position trading bullish mode. I have a jump too. The old one we but now make it bearish mode. Bearish. Okay. So I'll pop that in the chat. You're welcome. You're my sweet baby. I hope that makes you happy. Remember, trading oil is not the same as trading Bitcoin, and trading oil is not the same as trading Forex. So that's the best time to trade oil. Okay. So so all you need to know now is whether you're a bull or a bear, and then what happens over the next little bit, is up to you. So you either get an opportunity to buy a dip, or you're going to get a top and sell the rally. Okay? So you might say on a 1-minute chart that still looks bullish. Okay? But you can see this white line is where we are now. So imagine the ribbon rolling over. So you're like, So you have to decide. See, someone trading this, if you're a bull, what you're thinking is something like this. And you're buying dips into the ribbon, right? That's what a bull would do. Yep, 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 yep. A bear, however, is not looking at this the same way, because we know this is the right time for a bear to be lurking and waiting, right? Ambushing. So they're looking for lower high, lower low, lower high, sell. So if you're right now, and this is a 1-minute chart, if you're scalping this today, and you're taking this down, you're more interested in the fact that it's made a lower low on this time frame than this being right? No, you have to already be a bear. That's the thing. If you're not already a bear, if you're not already a bull, don't even listen to any of this. Because it doesn't matter. You're going to invent new ways to lose money. So why listen to me teach you how to make money? If you don't know if you're a bull or a bear, forget it. Okay? So if you're already a bear and you got time of day, Todd, time of day, if you got that in mind, then, right? So you're a bearish Todd. You're like, yeah, I'm selling this. I'm taking this down. And the closer you are to, the closer your stop really is. So you're like, yeah, I'm taking this down. Now, you wouldn't have done this 2 hours ago. That's the point I'm trying to make. You're not making this 2 hours ago. You only got in the game an hour ago. So if you were a bear, do you sell higher highs? No. Do you sell higher highs? No. Do you sell lower lows? No, but you sell lower highs off lower lows. So you're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And notice, like, when I say you should be at your charts roughly this time, and I don't know if I actually picked out the right time. I guesstimated where the time was. But it's not the exact time it drops or spikes. I get you at your chart in time to prepare. I hope you appreciated that too. Right? You get there early and you wait. That's what RWA is. Ready, willing, and able. Okay? And you're like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Game on. Okay? If you're a bear. Now, if you're a bull, you're looking for dips, right? You're looking for dips. You want to buy a dip. So you might be thinking more like this as a bull. And remember, I don't have any pivots on here or anything, but you might be looking for, a kickoff like that. Okay? So you're like, yeah, somewhere around 41.50. You don't really want it to come all the way down to 41 because that's a full reset. So yeah, maybe around 41.50 and ciao. So now you'd be on a 1 minute chart waiting for 5-8 cross up. You're like, which one's the 5-8? Well, you got to go to a different chart. That's all. Okay. Natty gas coming down, my friend. Okay. Brent riding the 4-hour 21. Lovely. With your smile so worn and your teeth so green. All right. Why did I say early next year I might be selling gold? It's my alpha. Roger, you going to be at the meeting? Right on. Yeah, let me remind everyone, we have an earlier time for the swing trading meeting. So whether you're, regardless of which group you're in, it's an earlier time now, 2 p.m. So we'll meet today and we will go over next week's and maybe even next month's swing trades. The reason maybe even start December is next week we have Thanksgiving in America. Right? It's where Americans get together and thank the Indians for getting chicken pox and smallpox and giving them the continent for free. They're like, that's so nice of you. Ba 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 boo boo boo. I was just right then and there. I was thinking about like the entire history of the Indian migration, right? And then I'm like, And that's interesting because that leads to Aztecs and what the Mayans were doing. And all of a sudden, I just went through like 1,000 years of history in about 6 seconds. But all of a sudden, I was going to ask, like, and it wouldn't have sounded connected, right? But I'm like, has anyone had the chocolate Aztec beer? They fermented chocolate. It wouldn't be sweet because there's no sugar in it. So it would have been incredibly bitter. That sounds a lot like coffee. And then they made a coffee version of it, but not hot chocolate because it's not sweet. It was bitter. So they made like coffee, but they used and then they had a means in which to ferment it. So they basically drank chocolate beer. Again, not sweet. It would have been bitter like beer is bitter. But has anyone ever had that? I'm sure it's an old recipe you probably can get somewhere. Jim's like, put it on the bucket list, Jim. All right. You know, the other thing is I want to get on a pirate ship in the Caribbean. And Gary's like, oh, my God. I want to get in a pirate ship in the Caribbean, sail around and drink the pirate beer. What is it, grug? It's like half nasty rum and half nasty wine, and the other half is nasty beer. 3 halves smashed together. Gary's like, I'm not getting on that boat. That's so stupid. All right. Good. Yeah, still nothing, huh? Just nothing. But looks like a serious test here. Remember, the bearish target is, well, let's just call it 1,800. Jim loves the Caribbean. You know, the interesting thing about the Caribbean, I mean, the history is so neat. You stand on one island and they speak French, and then you tiptoe 27 feet and they speak Spanish, and then you tiptoe 27 feet another way. Like, the islands are so close. You get on the other island and they're like, are you speaking Dutch? And then you go to the next island and they want to speak English. And you're like, it's so confusing. They're like, yeah. Thank you, you European white trash. I mean, but what an interesting, like, I'd like to study more of the Caribbean history. Like, what was it like before the Europeans arrived? And what was it like who lived in the Caribbean before slavery? Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know that, but that would be fascinating. What happened to the original indigenous people of the Caribbean? Like, yeah, awesome history there. Like, so when you're on Nevis, it's great where they're like, all right, it was a Dutch colony, great. And then it was an English colony, and you're like, great. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, the founding father of the United States of America was born here. You're like, really? Now this is getting super, like, what the hell was he doing out here, right? You're like, Hamilton was born here? And they're like, oh, and over here is like a 400-year-old Jewish cemetery. You're like, what? Oh, yeah, the Jews were fleeing Europe and had to find the last refuge on Earth, so they found the tiniest country in the Western Hemisphere. And you're like, what? Yeah, is that right, Gary? Yeah. So, like, so I'm a history buff, and I just love that. And, like, what happened to them? That makes sense. Caribs. Shows you how little I know. So, at least it shows you how I'm willing to learn. So, anyways. So, the target here, the bearish target is 18. So, you know, it looks like we're trying to breach here. I mean, for sure, eh? For sure. So, can't sell it here. I wouldn't sell it here. And I think even yesterday I said, yeah, it looks very bearish, but I can't sell it at support. So it's one of these things, like if you just started the week, right? If you just started the week a bear, Well, here's 1900, the psych level. There's a weekly central pivot, which is a sell pivot for bears. And then there's a monthly central, and it's a rally up to resistance. So, all you had to do was be a bear. That's it. That's why I keep saying, like, don't stare at your charts and ask the charts to tell you what to do, right? It's not like reading tea leaves. Oh my God, it just told me the future. No, it didn't. It told you price and time. So if you had already been a bear on gold, you were like, okay, well, that price is pretty kick-ass. And now, oh, lower high, lower low, and this is holding. So yeah, back here you would have sold it, and then you'd be done. Right? And you sold it at the monthly, you sold it at the weekly, then the other monthly is above you. So you got all of this, and so the decision of you being a bear is what makes you money. And then the technical analysis tells you if your decision is right or wrong. So, if it pops up, so let's say you shorted in there and then this went, well, the technical analysis says, all right, take your money. Take your money, you're wrong. Don't worry about it. Take a small loss. Don't worry about it. You'll get it next time. Right? You see that? That's what the technical analysis does, is tells you price and time, not whether you should buy or sell. So if you just started the week that way, then you had a very easy setup. And now here we are Thursday, and typically Thursdays, we're hitting targets, aren't we? How many people have noticed that after attending these webinars and maybe being in my live groups, because we're so focused on the week, and we get together on Thursdays to talk about Monday? You're like, well, why? Well, Monday's too late. We're already making money. So then what's so big about Thursday? Well, typically we're getting out of trades on Thursday. So some guy, you might be looking at this and say, wow, what an epically bearish day today. I guess I should be selling. Well, maybe, but I'd say there's a lot of risk, and we know there's another one here. Like, this isn't actually a good place to be selling. Just because it's falling doesn't mean it's a good place to sell, because it could stop. I mean, for a lot of different reasons. So you're just like, it's crazy, ridiculously late with more risk associated with it than ever. So I'd rather you think differently and just say, why don't you be a bull or a bear on this for the next year? Just make a decision. I don't care. Flip a coin. I don't care. Just be a bull or a bear. And then you're ready or you're not ready. Thank you, Jimmy. 742. Seems fair. Okay? You see what I mean? Like, I'd rather you just walk in and like, you take the shot and you're done. What'd you do this week? Well, on Monday, I sold at 1900 because I'm a bear. And that, right? And that's it. And they're like, what happened since? Apparently I'm up, $500. Or, sorry, $50. Right? So you're like, yeah. So I picked up $50. And what's your target for this? I'm going for $100. Okay? That's how I want you to trade. You sold it at 19, you're targeting 18. Done. Right? Done. You sold in the first couple hours of the week. Or you sold at the end of Monday after the lower low. Okay, so you took that. And that's that. Okay? Benjamin says, what is the daily routine before trading? Well, first of all, I just explained it to you in an essence. But it's weird. I don't really have a start and stop to the day. I don't really have a routine. I mean, I'm sure I can make a great video and tell you, well, first thing I do is I run 5 miles, and then I spend 2 hours at the homeless shelter, and then I come to work and I do some trading, right? No, I wake up and I already know what I've done. First of all, like, the last thing I do before I go to bed is check the market. Right? And the first thing I do when I wake up is I check the market. Like, it's not, I don't know, there's not really make a cup of coffee. Well, I bet you I probably have looked at charts sometimes 40 minutes before I even get to my cup of coffee, which is kind of interesting, right? So I don't see it as a downtime, and that's the real benefit of being a professional trader. Like I don't have on and off, right? So I know the trades I'm in. I know the trades I want to be in. I know which ones I'm feeling sort of iffy about because I looked at it last night and I'm like, oh, that's a cold open on Asia. So that means, shoot, this thing could fart around to London and then the London boys are going to tear it down. And I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, right? So, and when I wake up, I'm like, what happened, right? Like, so there is no off time, which is kind of cool. So it's more of like the routine isn't a routine before I trade. That would be very much like a scalper attitude of, you're getting ready for the volatility. Volatility is irrelevant for a swing trader. It knocks you out or it makes you money, but it's sort of like, no, it's not a vol trade, right? So I don't have to like get super psyched and I have to like go to the news like, oh my God, was it 742 this week on the weekly jobless claims? Like, no, I mean, it's not that important, right? There are bigger things that are important to fundamental analysis. That's a news release, not fundamentals, right? So, and is a weekly jobless claim really creating that much volatility? Generally not. So the routine is more like I'm always on. There isn't like now. The routine would be things like Sunday afternoon. I know exactly when to be at my charts. Okay, and I do off the charts with Wayne McDonald. It's going to get more difficult to do it though because it's just cold and rainy in Georgia. But youtube.com/FXBootcamp. So like this is part of the routine. 1 week ago. Here you go. Okay. So I do this on Sundays.
But, I'm not too exposed to number one.
Well, so that's the thing. That's what the benchmark is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to beat the benchmark, the more you have in your portfolio, the more you're similar to the benchmark.
Right.
Right? Like, let's say you have 50 stocks and the S&P 500 has 500. Well, you're still just like a baby index, right? So if you're going to beat the index, you have to be less like the index. And then they're saying that there's a behavioral finance aspect to it.
Notice the beer, the cigars.
Because you did research and you have some sort of alpha that no one else has. Like, these two companies are undervalued by a lot.
Okay, so there's the routine. So like, why do I do off the charts with Wayne McDonald? Sundays around 3 o'clock. Why? Or 3:30, right? Why? Because then everyone that attends, including myself, we've already talked about investing and markets. We don't talk about technical analysis. This isn't about setting up trades. It's Sunday. If you don't have your Monday trades already on or already planned, you're doomed. You just don't know what's going on. So this group already knows what's going on. They've already planned out their Sunday afternoon trades. So we're getting together 90 minutes before the markets open to talk shop and hang out. Have a coffee, have a beer. It's a weekend. We're just loose as a goose, right? It's all good. And then all of a sudden we hit, markets are open. Like, see you guys, everyone go get your trades, right? And we go get our trades on. And then probably by, 5:36, you're done. You're swing trading for the entire week. You're done for the entire week. What did you do last week? Well, I sold gold at 19. Okay. Meanwhile, other people are getting caught in here and selling low and selling lower and keep selling low, riding the 21, but into pivot profit zones and into support zones. And like, it's an okay methodology. It's just really late. And it's a little dangerous. Where if follow a similar routine as me, you're at your chart exactly right here. And remember, you're not sitting there looking at it going, should I be a bull or should I be a bear? That's your fallacy right there. Do you understand? Now most of you are not here. That's one big problem. And you're not there because you don't know how to plan properly. And therefore you don't understand, like, why should you be there at that exact moment? Okay. And that's the big thing in the trading courses. I have to prove to you so many times, right? Yeah, I have to prove to you 10, 12, 15 times before I finally I get to it intellectually, but I have to get in, I have to not just convince your heart, or your mind, but I have to convince your heart of why and when these things are important, right? So you have to change your entire behavior, not your thought process, but your behavior is what's important. Your behavior is what's holding you back from achieving your destiny as a Forex trader. So right? So that's a major part of the routine where I do a webinar to make sure people are at their charts exactly when they're supposed to be. Okay? And so now you come in, this is exactly when the webinar is over, and you're like, okay, you're already a bear. Why are you a bear? I don't know. 9 months ago, you flipped a coin. Like, I don't care why you're a bear. Maybe you're a bear because this dropped like $1,000 in a day. Maybe you're a bear because you flipped a coin. I don't care why you're a bear. Okay? But if you're a bear and you were hanging out with me, off the charts with Wayne McDonald, and you're like, I want to sell this at 1900. So you sold it at 1900. So now it's 5:30 and you're done for the entire week. Go back to your barbecue. You're like, sorry, fellas, I just had to sell some gold, in the Asia Open. I need to get my gold trades on before Shanghai. And they're like, oh my God, you're so cool. You're so cool. I'm like, I know, right? Okay. Well, so Elm says, then you get stopped out an hour later, then you're way, way, way over leveraged. And you're in a much smaller time frame. So, for example, you should know how to swing trade, right? What if your stop was here? You're like, Wayne, I can't have a stop that far away. Yeah, you're over leveraged. I just fixed you. No wonder you only go after 30 pips. And by the way, Elm, I'm not picking on you. I'm using that as an example. So I'm not hitting on you. What I'm saying is you need to probably change some things. Okay, that's all. Gold spreads are expensive. Okay, well then wait it out. Okay, wait it out. How many hours did you have to set this up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You had at least 14 hours, bro. I mean, you could put this together. You can do it. I know you can do it. Okay? So, right, I'm not telling you it's easy, and I'm not telling you, but what I am telling you is that I think most of you have reasonable enough knowledge of trading and how to trade, but you're not behaving properly. Okay. By the way, there's the bullish entry I drew for you. So a bear was waiting to sell. A bull was waiting to buy. I drew it off the white line. Remember, 41.50. So so the bears maybe not got in, but okay, let's say they're in at 41.50. Now the issue for a bull on WTI, right? And remember, I want to be a bull. So that's what I would do if I were me. Now the next issue is, can you hang on between now and through the stock market open? And by about 10 a.m., 10:30, depending if there's news, you should probably be up, maybe 50 cents, maybe $1. But what I say is 2/3 of the average daily range. So let's say crude moves $1 per day. Between this time, which was a half an hour ago, right? And between then and let's say 10 a.m., you should probably be 66 cents up profit. Okay. So one contract $660. So you're like, whoa, well, maybe I don't want to trade one contract. All right, well, you'd be up $66 for a mini, right? So you get it. You don't want to carry this, so this is a good day trading asset class. Okay. Here I am on the road again. Here I am up on stage. Oh, it did it. Here I go playing star again. Here I go. Turn the page. So this is saying much higher. This is saying up. Well, we're 41.50. Yeah, about 42.50, right? 42.85. So just over $1. Cool. See how easy that is, guys? Check this out. You're like, wait, Wayne, I see a pattern here. That's roughly the time of day that oil moved today, right? This one was more of a top, right? But anyways, how about this? What if you got, let's delete. What if you looked at it this way, where you're like, you're going to trade it like that. Do you see the importance of this ribbon? By the way, this ribbon and this template and the watermark and the bias pivots, they're all at MetaTraders. Now, some of these, like the ribbon, for example, is in the complete toolkit, not the $5 kit, but it is there. We have the MT4 version with the price action pivot points, but he bailed out on me on the MT5 version, and so I'm trying to get him to finish the MT5 version. He said he would do it, and then he didn't do it, and you know programmers. He's a good guy, though. Great guy. Does good work when he does it. All right, so you see that? By the way, see this area here? Conservative target and aggressive target. Look how we played both the aggressive target and the conservative target. Isn't that cool? So on oil now, conservative target 42.80, 42.86, and aggressive target is 43. So that's $1.50 today if you get this right. Notice it's at the exact right price, the exact right time, and we're going for $1.50 profit on oil. It's not a bad day. Okay. And yeah, it's not a bad day. What do you think? How many people think we can get to 43 today? By the way, we just hit the 1 hour mark. So we know in about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, YouTube is going to suddenly lag. What do you think? Do you think we can call it out now? Okay, so for those that said yes, you're bulls on oil, which means you would be a bear on dollar, bear on yen, and bullish on global trade. So you've declared what your opinion is. So when I say Are you a bull or a bear? You should know, because the amazing thing is when I say that, I don't mean on this pair or this commodity. If you're a bull here, you have 27 different trades you should be on or you can consider. It's when you don't know that, I don't know how you'd make a decision, for example. Like, so a lot of people say, well, what about pound Kiwi? Okay, one is relatively strong today and the other one's relatively weak today. But how do you know how long it's going to last? How do you know, like, to me, I understand one is strong today and one's weak today. Let's say the pound is strong. But it seems to me it could just as well be weak, right? Like, so that, what you're doing when you're trading crosses, and I'm not saying you can't, and a lot of people love it. So I'm not saying anything bad to you if that's what you like. But I'm just telling you, like, my point of view, where I'm not sure how it's long that stuff would last, because what you're doing is you're looking at what has happened. Okay, you know, while you were sleeping, it was this way. Yesterday, it was that way. Okay, like, and you go in, you're like, well, this has been going up for a day, a week, a month. Okay, that's fine. But that is technical, and that is pure looking back. So you're making bets that what happened yesterday will continue. But as we know, as the NFA would like to remind you, past performance does not predict future results. So I like to know the fundamentals behind it. And it may lead to the same trade. But I can't do it just because of a difference, right? A relative strength differential. Because that would just be backward looking. And I played with that for a few years. So I am bringing some thing to the table beyond opinion. But I did it for years where I studied the actual data, not like this, the chart looks like it was bullish yesterday. I actually studied the data over long periods of time, and it could just stop, right? Where you can have three or 4 days in a row, and on the fifth day you lose, and it gives back 40% of the, you know, and I just felt like 3 steps up, 2 steps back, or even like 4 steps up, 1 step back. But it was harder for me to know when or why that last step would fall. And you don't know if it was the first step or the middle step or the last step. You just knew 20% of the time, you know, it hurt. So I gravitated, I think, naturally toward fundamentals to explain why that relative strength differential might be taking place. So it's just like a little more, but I tend not to trade pound Kiwi, let's say, for example, because the pound isn't a reserve currency. No, it's a widely traded currency. Also, Kiwi, you know, they're both majors, so to speak, but they're not really majors without the US dollar. Right? Like, if New Zealand hiccups, it doesn't rock the entire world. Right? If the United States hiccups, it does rock the entire world. So I pay more attention, really, when I write to the US dollar is the prime thing I trade. That's like, if someone asks me, what do you do? I could say, well, I'm a greenback guru, right? Yeah, Marina. So Marina, I believe you do a lot of cross pairs and relative strength, right? So I'm not saying bad things, right? I'm just sort of explaining my own process through doing that, because I did do it for years, and then, you know, I found something that maybe just I felt more comfortable with, or maybe worked better for me, or something, right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So if I was in scalping mode, maybe, or and it's not always scalping mode. If I was maybe an intraday trade or scalping, I always seem to get onto a 5-minute chart. Like, no matter what I'm doing, I seem to get onto a 5-minute chart. So like, if I felt it was a day to kind of get my hands dirty, right? I might throw in the relative strength because I can see it's happening now. But like I showed earlier, I'd rather just sell gold and walk away for 4 days. And what'd you do? And you're like, it was a difficult week. I sold gold and then I was done. And I haven't done anything for days, right? So I lean more of that, right? You're probably younger and more beautiful than me, so you could so get in there and do the dirty work. So yeah. But I've done it. Oh, I've done it. I've done my fair share for sure. For sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what do you do here? Brent, right? What do you do here? Once again, the only question that matters is whether you're a bull or a bear. See, if you're a bull, you buy the dip to the 21 and let it run. And I'm looking at this, and every swing trader is looking at this. You're like, yeah, you're going to let it run to the 45.55. You're done. All right, that's it. You're a bull. You're taking it up, and that's that. You're on your way to basically 45.46. Now, you don't know if it's going to happen, but the analysis is not complicated. You're like, oh my God, yeah, buy the dip, it's gone. And you're not even looking at just like, oh, well, the 21 EMA. Oh yeah, well, that's definitely part of it. You might be saying, wow, look, it's 2 standard deviations from a mean. Yeah, but that's not necessarily it either. You might be looking at next week's pivot points. Yeah, that's it, but it's not necessarily. And then you're looking at this month's pivots. You're like, well, it's supposed to go up there. And you're like, yeah, it's not just that, but it's all of that. Now, what if you're a bear? You're like, oh, double top. Do you know if it's going to double top? No, but you know you're going to set up a double top. Okay? So if you've made the ultimate decision, it's not really, you're like, dude, you're riding the 21. Oops. I guess I have to make it a color you can see. You're like, dude, it's not that complicated. You ride it up. Or you got out, you were done last week. So either way, but, let's say you're going to ride this up. Okay, great. It's easy. If you're a bull, there's no confusion. There's no biting fingernails. There's not deep analysis, right? Up, 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 down, down, buy. Up, 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 down, down, buy. And what you're thinking is this. There's the next 3, 4, 5 days. And the cool thing of making a decision, if it does this, oops, that was supposed to be blue. Come on, stupid. All right. Okay, if it does that, well, you're done. Get out. It ain't going to do what you thought. You were wrong. Bulls were wrong. Bears are right. You're like, oh, had a shot. That was cool. Too bad. So sad. Next time. Okay? And if you're a bull, you're like, up, 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 down, down, buy. Up, 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 down, down, buy. And why would you buy it here? Because you're like, yeah, I see this, but fundamentally there's no way. So you're going to do this. Right? And bears, right, are trying the other thing. So what does a bear do? Wait for the lower low. Wait for the lower low. Wait for the, oh, no lower low. Didn't trade. Didn't lose money. Okay? So we don't know. I can't tell you that's what it's going to do. But you need to know what you're going to do. Okay? Right? Doesn't matter your methodology of trading. Whether you like relative strength or not, whether you're a fundamental trader, whether you're a trend trader, a counter trend trader, carry trader, scalper, it doesn't matter. If you don't know what you're going to do before you do it, I don't know how you could set up your trade. I can't fathom how people would do it without a trade plan, right? Like if you were ready, willing, and able as a bull, you bought that, done. It's easy. That's not complicated, right? It's like a 50% Fibonacci retracement after a higher high. Just like nothing. You don't know if you're going to make money, but you probably will. That's what you're thinking because you have a bias. And you know your stop could be, I don't know, let's say just below this, low if you wanted to be that close. Okay, cool. Done. What's the big deal? But you're like, well, how do you know I should be a bull or a bear? That's the problem. You just nailed it. Just nailed it. You don't know if there's going to be an increase in demand for energy? No, I don't. I don't know nothing about Brent oil. Well, what about global macroeconomics? Or What about geopolitical scenarios? Or like, what do you know about the world? I don't know nothing. I just like Bitcoin, right? You're like, okay. Are you bullish or bearish on a Bitcoin? I don't know. Well, once again, it's you don't know, right? It's not like there's lack of education. Now, there probably is a lack of education, but it's literally you don't know. You don't know what you're doing, right? I'm not saying tactically. I mean strategically. Do you think it'll go up or down? I don't know. It can do anything. Oh, it's a random walk around Wall Street. Oh my God. That's where I roll my eyes at, these professional money managers making all this money and they're like, it's all random. I'm like, you're nuts. You're an idiot if you think it's random. Oh my God. Okay. So anyways, if you're random, oh my God. What if you're random? What if your trading is random? It won't work. Right? I don't care what technique or strategy that you use, but you have to know what you want to do. You have to know who you are, what you represent. Okay? So if you're a bear on this, you find this very interesting, but you're not ready. You're ready, willing, and able, but you're like, no, it's too early. It's still riding a 4-hour 21. I'd like to breach that, maybe let it come down to the 55, then set up a higher low. Sorry, a lower high, set up a lower high. So you're like, yeah, maybe tomorrow and next week I'll take this down. Yeah, that's how you trade as a professional. Not even professional, profitably. That's how you trade profitably. And you're like, well, what if it does this? Well, you never shorted it, so what do you care? You were wrong on strategy. But tactically, you prevented yourself from losing money. Okay? So anyways, Bitcoin still going up from our roll reversal. Remember, this started at 15,000. Or no, sorry, this started at 10,000 and it's now 18,000. Nice. Brazil, oh, I love Brazil. I love meeting Brazilians. They're like, I'm a Brazilian. And you're like, oh, I've been to Brazil. You've been to my country. Oh, you come to Sao Paulo. You meet my family. We'll cook a dinner. We go. I'm like, dude, I've known you for 4 seconds. Yeah. Brazilians are awesome. Wait, to get inside the swing trading group, I have to do the courses. Yes. Now, you don't have to have them all completed. We hope you do, because, I teach, but I don't teach at the same time. The live trading groups are about live trading, right? So very often I will talk about psychology of like managing stops and managing risk and having like, we did a lot of discussion about having conviction, for example. We do a lot of group work. So you'll show up and talk to other members about your opinion about technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and that kind of stuff. So if you like don't know nothing and you're like, yeah, I understand there's like 50 hours worth of videos, but I don't have time to watch all the training. I just got to get rich quick, right? And you're like, pop yourself into the group. Yeah, you'll be supported by us, but it's understood that you're going through those courses. Okay? Okay? So yeah, so you go to fxbootcamp.com. And then after you buy the courses, it'll say, hey, do you want to upgrade your account so that you can attend our weekly live meetings and you can meet with, with Wayne, but also other new traders learning the same things that you're learning, but also traders and members that have been members for 15 years. Like Jim's been a member for 15 years, right? Jim can answer your questions and he knows what you're going through. Right? And he's taken the courses, and he took the courses before these courses, and he took the courses before those courses, right? Jim is old. Jim is old. You can't hold Jim down. Yeah? That's the thing, right? So anyways, what's the saying, Jim? What's the saying? Marines don't die, they just smell that way? Something like that. Marines never die, they only smell that way. So anyways, but there's a large community, right, of people that know exactly what you're going through, for sure. But I don't sit there and teach the stuff that's already in the videos. I mean, you should already watch the video, right? Oh, you haven't heard that one, Jim? I just made it up. That's mine. Trademark, Wayne McDonald Incorporated. Thank you. So, yeah. So that's what that's about. And then I have another group that's on a professional track to be money managers. And, well, if you can't trade profitably, forget it. So like one of the requirements, there's a test. And we install something on your MT4 and we're like, okay, 3, 2, 1, trade. You can only trade a tiny lot. You can, you only have so much time, right? And you have to make more than 10,000 pips trading. And so like, if that just like, what do you mean? What do you mean 10,000 pips? Yeah, you have to sit down and trade 10,000 pips. Oh, by the way, you can't have any losses. And you're like, well, what the are you talking about? Like that's bizarro land. That's upside down land. That's Superman is evil and dogs live with cats. And you're like, there's no world like that. And then we say to you, well, you're not ready to join our professional group. You don't know it. You don't get it. You can't do it. Now, everyone that gets in the other group, and there are dozens and dozens of people in the professional track, guess what? They've all done it. Like, yeah, sit down, make 10,000 pips. 3, 2, 1, go. And you're like, you made 9,822. Fail. Or you do it again. Oh, I had a couple of losses. Fail. Oh, I made 12,000 pips, but, whatever. It's just, you can do it or you can't. And most people just don't even have this. They don't have this. They don't have they're like, what? You're trying to make 300 pips a month. And we're like, just to get into our group, you have to make 10,000. Show us, do it. And we're going to track it. We're going to watch you do it. And you're like, oh my God. So how do you join that group? fxbootcamp.com, watch all the training videos, hang out with me for a year or 2 or 3 until you can do stuff like that. But we track we track how much risk you take. We track how many losses you have. We track the time of day, the moment, and all this kind of stuff. If you can't follow the rules of engagement, then you can't do it. You just can't do it. If you're winging it, you're like, oh, this is great. I just want to make a whole bunch of money. It's so difficult what we teach you that if you're like mostly disciplined, you can't do it. You just can't do it. No. I'm almost always disciplined. No, fail. So there's a reason it's professional. Most people can't do it. But I can tell you dozens and dozens of people are doing it. Yeah. I see that, Jim, too. Like, Right. So like the book club, Jim, I think is going to be a good opportunity for you to shine and maybe get some experience on that side of it. And then maybe, there's stuff at FX Bootcamp that I think you really should be doing. And I know you know that. So when you're managing a team of traders, things are going to be good. So anyways, start fxbootcamp.com. If you can't start there, you don't know what you're doing, then you got to work with me until you know what you're doing, and then there will be an exam to get into the other group, the professional group, and it's very detailed. Right now it's only a 1-week test, but I want to bust that out. I want to make it at least a 21-day test where there's like day after day after day. I push you. It's a grind. Then open up your chart. Do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. Like 21 days that's such a commitment. That's so hard. Fail. Not interested. Pass. Good luck. Go back to the regular boot camp until you're ready. Okay. So anyways. So Bitcoin. Anyways, look up, just riding the 21. Beautiful, right? Isn't that just beautiful? Up to the 21, up to the 21, up to... And by the way, this is all in my book, like I wrote 15 years ago, right? It's like that's straight out of the book. It's just crazy how awesome Bitcoin's been. Okay. All right. I feel like I need to order a bunch of books. I think I'm going to order like a bunch of books like today. I think I'm just going to pick a bunch of books. Or I got to survey you guys and find out what books. I think I'll buy like 10 books, but it may not be enough. I was thinking about reading at least 10 books, but more like 20 books in the month of January. "12 Rules of Life." That sounds a lot like Ray Dalio. Like, I don't want to follow your 12 rules. Right? Here's my number one rule, Benjamin. There's no rules. I saw a t-shirt the other day. I forget what it was, but it was a t-shirt with a list on it. And it says things I don't like, right? T-shirts with lists. And then the second one was like irony. Oh, yes. Yeah, we record all of the live stuff. Yeah. I can't record so we do a lot of group work. So what I'll say is, okay, group number 1 is going to talk about the Aussie dollar. Group number 2 is going to talk about the British pound. Group 3 is going to talk about, the Japanese yen, whatever. And then I break people into groups. And literally they go off into subgroups and they're sharing their charts and they're talking. Oh, what about Aussie versus yen? What about Aussie versus Swissy? What about Aussie versus dollar? No, I don't like I think Swissy's better. And they're literally having a half an hour conversation about technical analysis, and they're putting together trade plans so that we can all have a better idea of what might happen next week. So they're debating it as a group, right? So I don't record that, but then I bring people back, and then I'll say, okay, let's hear from the Aussie group. And someone takes the charts and the mic and they go through, well, this is what we talked about, and this is what we liked, and this is what we didn't like, and here's our trade plan for the Aussie yen. We think this is going to be the best one next week. And I'll say, well, why do you think that? And what do you think about this? And, I see the weekly, but how do you feel about the monthly? Or oh, how about seasonality? Or what do you think about this? And we have a conversation. And it's often, a 15-minute conversation. And then we thank you for, the update, right? Okay, so that's it for Team Aussie. Thank you, Team Aussie. All right. right? Team Great British Pound. Who's got Great British Pound? And someone's like, oh, that's going to me. So I give them the charts and the mic, and we have a conversation. They go through it, and I ask questions, and we're all learning. We learn from the group work. We learn from my analysis. We learn from my questions and responses and all that kind of stuff. Right? So I don't record the group work, but you guys have group work almost always. And then we come back and stuff. So it's not like me saying like, if you only follow my one trade a week, you can have a jet and have financial freedom, right? Which you see on YouTube 27 times a day, or at least I do. I'm like, well, why don't we talk about it intellectually? Okay. Forex Trading Channel says starting the 10,000 pips today. No losses. Yeah. Oh, really? So Benjamin said you can, Wayne, you would be blown away by his speech. Okay. No, it's a doctor of philosophy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe email me, huh? All right. So we did some commodities. Great. And we're stuck here, aren't we? Remember, I drew this yesterday to say this is the place you're likely to get stuck. How do you handle getting stuck here when you planned on having it rock through? You remember that? This had to do with risk management. Okay? I'm like, if you sold here, right? Not here, but we said it here. So, the standard operating procedure for selling, if you're a bear, you probably sold in here, or you sold in here, or you sold in here, or you sold in here, right? Or you sold in here, whatever. There's so many ridiculously obvious trades, right? Okay, cool. But our discussion yesterday is we were approaching this level, and I said, okay, I get out of trades when my trade plan has failed. It doesn't mean I'm losing money. Although if I'm making a little bit of money, I'm not interested in making a little bit of money. So I'd rather break even than make a little bit of money. Okay, so it's like, if this was the plan, you should bail when the plan is not working. Okay? And so if you'd sold up here and you were up, you're up some money. It's not a big amount of money, but it's money. It's not like 22 pips or something, right? You're up 100 or something, right? Now this is Rand, so you might be up 1,000 pips, but it's worth, 50 pips, right? But if you can't breach this level here, it's a real problem. Okay? So you might have a new line in the sand. Or at least you need to make serious decisions, right? And maybe you just move your stop at BE and you just walk away. You're like, no, I don't really care. It's only Rand, as they say in South Africa, right? It's only Rand. So, but it's when the plan fails as planned is what I'm interested in, not necessarily pips. Okay? So do you think I said to myself, I want to sell here so it could double bottom? No. So the other way of managing it is, like I said, if it's not a lot of money, right? So you're in here and you're watching this and then it goes higher and you're like, okay, this looks like it's failed, but it's not a lot of money. You don't need it. I mean, you could take it, but then you're reducing your average winner. And it still might work because you got your fundamentals. Okay? So you could just say, well, I can lose 3 pips and make my average loss tiny, but you still have the opportunity for this next week. That is a judgment call. There isn't a right answer. Forex Trading Channel says 10,000 in how many days? I think it's a month. I think it's a month. We give you a month of data, and you day trade it up. You session trade it up. You intraday trade it up for the month, but of course we speed it up, so you can knock it out in a couple of hours, right? But you either know how to trade or you don't know how to trade. That's pretty simple. And almost everyone comes in and says, Wayne, I'm a really good technical trader, but I make no money. I ain't got no money, right? Wayne, I'm an excellent technical trader, but I don't make any money. So we're like, okay, take the test. And then you realize, oh my God. Like, it's another level. Like, you've never even thought of it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Right? So to me, for us to reset your mind from sort of from what you think is right to what you now know, there has to be a shift there. And so if you've never thought that way, you've never even tried. And for me, if I had only known, if someone had only just showed me or told me in the beginning, but remember there's nobody, it would have influenced who I am. I'm one of these guys where I just show me what I need to do to be a success. Okay, okay, I can mimic that, I can do it, I got it, and I'm gone, right? Like I grab and go, right? And I'm like, okay, I see that, I need to do that and do that, got it, great, gone. And I go do my thing. But it's very helpful to know what those things are versus trying to figure it out. Like if you've never known, right? If you've been trying to make 500 pips a month and someone says, well, you can make 15,000 in a month. And you're like, shut the up. There's no way. You're like, yeah, not every month, but you should be trying. You're like, what? What do you mean? Like 1,000 is unthinkable. Oh, well. Right? You're like, I never even conceived of, let's say, 5,000 a month. 5,000 sounds stupid. But once you've known, once you've seen it, you're like, holy smack. Oh my God. And it's just a breakthrough mentally. Okay? It's just a breakthrough mentally that, there's times and places for that to happen, but you need to know how to be able to do it. That's all. And then you can look at your day trading, intraday and stuff. So that's what I mean, like picking up 30 pips. That's not going to help me make 10,000 pips this month. Right? 30 pips, maybe 1,000. But it's so small. Like I'd rather maybe try to maybe it just turns. Maybe it turns. People are hesitating at the double bottom. I get it. Okay? They're hesitating at 15, but oh my God, this could run, right? And so you have to have a fundamental bias. You have to be looking at maybe higher time frames. You're like, dude, I think we can get this down to 13. So I'm not bailing at 15, right? So you make these decisions. And then if you get knocked out here, you'll say, okay, well, maybe if we're doing a return to here. So maybe as we get closer to 16 and a half, right? And so you bail out and you wait and you wait and you wait for your plan to set up. Okay? So that's all. Okay? Yes, guys, there's a swing trading group that you're learning how to trade. Then there's a professional group that knows how to trade, but now they're becoming professionals, which is money management, risk management, portfolio development, different. But if you don't know how to trade, forget it. Why would we teach you how to be a professional? Right? Yes, if there's a lockdown, dollar goes up. Yes. All right. Euro ZAR. Okay. I only have this set up bearishly. Okay, let's track this. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Right? Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, down, up. Not ideal, but there might be one more sell, but I'm concerned. That's all it is. Okay? Concerned. It's not dead yet. I don't like it. So imagine now you move this stop, and 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 you move this stop. And let's say today is the bad day. Today is the bad day that goes up here. So now you're out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades profitably and 1 loser. Okay? I know it's Euro ZAR, but my point is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 profitable days in a row. So you're basically collecting the full average daily range on 6 trades. What is that worth on anything like a euro dollar? Okay. Well, if that was euro dollar, right? The first one, let's say 500 pips. The second one, 400. Third one, 300, 200, and 100, let's say, right? And then you got your minus 35 or something. Okay, but so now you're like, okay, so if you were just trading euro dollar, this is just day trading, not complicated stuff. On top of there's weekly and monthly. But I'm just trying to show you, like, how is it even possible, right? Well, on your first day, you're in it for 5 days, or 5 or 6 days, right? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, add that up, right? 1,500 pips. And that's only on one pair with 1 trade a day. But you're probably trading 4 or 5 times a day. And that's only a week. And you're like, holy crap, I never thought about it that way. I know, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. You can do this. I know you're capable of this. You have to learn technical analysis. I get it. Do you really need to know fundamentals? Yeah, when you're ready to become a professional, you need to speak the language of the industry, for sure, right? Or if you're going to make judgment calls on, like, what will happen if Biden in January shuts the U.S. economy down after Christmas because everyone's going to get to Christmas and grandma's going to get sick and die and Biden's going to freak out because he's older than your grandma. So all of a sudden he's going to shut the shit down, also to show that he's not Trump. Cool. What happens in that situation? Well, I'll already be cornering the market on the U.S. dollar. And if he does that, I'll probably make a boatload of money. We're like, whoa. That's not on my chart, Wayne. I know. That's what fundamentals is. That's what fundamentals are. Sorry. Okay, so you'll get there. But the thing is, you need to know how to trade too, right? Like, you actually need to know how to trade, not just trade 158 cross, but like, let your winners run, 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 let your winners run. Imagine you decide to put all your money here and then you exit here. And you're like, oh my God, my account just went up 22%. Whew. You're like, really? For this? You risked it all for that. And if it had popped out, you would have blown up your account. Really? That's how you want to trade. You have one bad day, you lost 50% of your money. Really? Really? You know that's wrong. I hope you know that's wrong. One bad day is nothing. It's like, oh man, that sucks. If one bad day is a big deal, you're not doing it right. Most likely you're risking too much and your reward is too little. So we just have to turn that frown upside down. You have to risk less and make more pips. And then you will be smiling. Oops. That didn't work out. Thought I was going to make a nice little face. Okay. It's a human dog. I want you guys to succeed. I don't know how much you believe that. But I want you to succeed like badly. I really, really want you to get this. I'm not saying you're going to be flying in a jet with one trade a week. You're going to be independently wealthy if you just follow my signal. I really want you to get this because it will become a business for you and your family and your lineage. One day I would like you to work for me, with me. Right? I want you to succeed. It's in my best interest that you succeed is one way of saying it. But the other thing is, this is a meaningful difference to humanity, I believe. Especially from those that come from a less privileged country as America. Suddenly you have access. Maybe you're in a third world country and you're in a little town and you're different than everybody else. I've been in a situation like that. I'd argue where I grew up was a third world country, right? Rural Saskatchewan is a third world country. I mean, you should see the city I grew up in. Half the buildings are boarded up, and I mean, it looks rough. It looks like a war went on in my town, right? So you could be someone different than everyone else in your little town of 5,000 people, 50 million miles away from everything interesting. And yet you can pick up a laptop with a mediocre internet connection, a dial-up if you had one. And you could trade gold against a Malaysian billionaire in real time and have the same opportunity. Now, maybe you got no money or hardly any money, but you can grow it and you can have access to a business. And you can build a career, a business, a lineage. You can change absolutely everything. Now, the people around you will think you're nuts, a genius, a nutcase, a degenerate gambler, and a fool. But it's better than anything in town. And I always liked being different from the people around me because I didn't like the people around me. So it gave me strength to get out of bed and do what needs to get done. All I have to do to change the world is start by changing my own world. And then I can venture out and help others do the same. Right? And I'm not saying like blue pill or red pill, and all of a sudden I pull you out and you're like, you're out of the matrix now, and you're like, it's a horrible world here. I was happier in the matrix. No, it's like I unplug you and there's paradise. But you're not there yet. There are things you need to do, but it's better. And you can always go back to the matrix whenever you want. It didn't work out for you. You didn't quite try hard enough, so you want to go back. you can plug yourself back in and you'll forget any of it happened. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can fail. You can fail. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We're only talking about you influencing the next 300 years of your family lineage, and you're changing your family tree. No big deal if you can't do it. No big deal. If it's too hard, if it requires too much work, if it's too slow, don't worry. You can quit at any time. No one's going to laugh at you. Oh, I popped 5K into a Forex account, blew it up. Yeah, well, that happens to most people. And you can go back doing whatever you want. Plug yourself back into the matrix. It's totally fine. Because we'll keep going without you. So I say that facetiously because I want to know if you're willing to fight for it. Will you put 5 or 10 years into it? Will you give up barbecues with your buddies on Sunday afternoon? You either can or you can't. You understand that? Like, you do or you do not. There is no try. I just made that up, by the way. Trademark, Wayne McDonald Incorporated. Okay? It's like you either do it or you don't do it. You either read the reports or you don't. You either wait for the trade setups or you don't. You're not mostly or usually disciplined. You're not a little bit pregnant for now, right? No, like, you're hardcore disciplined and you will succeed no matter what. Or don't worry, you can fail and quit and it's no big deal. No one will laugh at you. So it depends on who you are. Okay? I don't think you have to be a genius. I don't think you need to have a master's degree from Harvard that says you know all this crap. Okay? I knew all this crap before I went to Harvard, so I know that to be true. Okay? And if there's a few things you don't know, I'll share. Don't worry. But the thing is, you do have to have a ridiculous, sickening work ethic. And you can change your life, change the life of your spouse and your children, pull yourself out into a different neighborhood, and then have newer friends, and then you change the path of your children's life. They go to a better school, they meet better people, they fall in love with better quality people, and they have better looking children with better opportunities that you never even imagined. And now the interesting thing is your children do imagine such things. They will be success in life. They will go and see the world. They think it's possible. And of course, if you think it's possible, God dang it, you might actually do it. And then, of course, their children and their children. Of course, you're transferring your wealth from you to your children, and then they inherit it and transfer it to their children, and your grandchildren transfer it to your great-grandchildren. And that's how you have a 300-year plan. So I have a 300-year plan for our family. I have a 300-year plan. So I realized one day, and I even remember the day, that I have to be the one that makes the sacrifice. I set it up, I build it up, I pass it on, and I die. I won't see any of it. I will not live to see my great-grandchildren be billionaires. But I did it because it's part of the plan. So I realized someone has to start, right? So when I hope you take up a similar challenge, not the 300-year, but you have to start right now and commit to making that change, to commit to making the sacrifice, to commit to spending the money, to commit spending the time. Once again, I'll use Harvard as the example. Harvard says, okay, it's going to be 4 years. It's going to be sacrifice. It's so much sacrifice. We want letters from your wife. We want letters from your boss. We want letters, all this stuff. Levels of commitment. Like, they're like, you can't do it. You just can't do it. So like you have to have so much amount of time and effort that 99% of people just can't do it. You're like, yeah, that's me. I can do it. Well, we want letters from everyone around you telling us that they will support you in this endeavor because it's way, way too difficult. And by the way, it's a boatload of money, a huge pile of cash. and 30 hours a week of study, and every weekend. Oh, and on top of that, you have to give up your entire summer and all your summer vacations, and you have to move to Cambridge and live on campus at Harvard. You're like, what the? I have to give up, right? I got 2 weeks off for Christmas. I got, I think, August off. I was doing something like 42 weeks a year. I was at Harvard for 4 years. 42 weeks a year for 4 years doing Harvard. 42 weeks a year at probably 30 to 40 hours. Like, ridiculous. They canceled the program because it was so hard. But I'm not talking about me. I'm trying to give you an example of where someone said it's going to take a long time and a lot of money, and it's going to be so much work it could possibly break your soul. Sign me up. That's me. I got this. Okay? 50%. They only accept 1%. It was less than 1% of the people applied got in. 50% of the ones that got in, 50% of the 1% failed to make it through, and they canceled the program. Harvard canceled the program because it's too difficult. To give up my wife, my kids, my friends, sacrifice summers and holidays and everything. Okay? A student. I did it and I kicked ass. I'm only asking that from you. Can you do that for the next 2, 3, 4 years? By the way, it's not going to cost you $100,000 or $150,000. No. It's a pittance compared to that, right? So you got this. It's just whether you can make a sacrifice like that. It's only 4 years. It's only 4 or 5 years, actually. Actually, I'm talking about working with you for the next 10 years. I've started a 5-year plan with actually a 15-year outlook. Okay? I have a 15-year business plan, and this is year 5 of the new 15-year business plan. So, that's where I'm going. The question is, are you coming with me? And you will have to fight tooth and nail and commit and sacrifice blood, sweat, tears for years, and it's going to cost money. You can't become a success in this business when you don't have any money. We buy and sell money. But I can help you get money and grow it over time and more time and more time and more time until you have something of value, which is a track record of success and repeatable skills. That not just skills to be a profitable trader, but to have the right type, be the right type of profitable trader. Low volatility, consistent returns over long periods of time, regardless of changing market conditions. And then I put you onto a team of 20 or 30 other people overseen by me. Where will you be in 15 years? Are you with me? I hope so. And if you're not, I hope I'm still hanging with you, that I still know you, that you're a successful trader, that it's worked out, and we can still meet up and hang out somewhere and have a cocktail and laugh about the good old times. And that's cool too. I just want you to succeed with me or without me. With me or without me. Without me. Right. I don't want to do the whole song. But the thing is, I just want you to succeed. And I don't know if you know that I'm thinking 15 years in advance. I don't know if you know that. But I want you to know that. It's not a short-term game. I'm not trying to get YouTube ads so I can make $200 a month on YouTube. It's not the raison d'etre. YouTube is not why I get out of bed. You're the reason I get out of bed. I want you to succeed. I want to share. And then, of course, now the market's open. I gotta get going. So Once again, welcome to the rest of your life. It's better than you can possibly imagine, but it's going to take more work than maybe you've ever done before. It just will come down to how hard you're willing to fight and how much you're willing to give up. Okay, the biggest thing with my cohorts that failed and dropped out, it wasn't because the work was too difficult. The sacrifice was too great. So I don't think the work is too difficult. I think you can learn technical analysis. I think you can learn fundamental analysis. And I know I can teach you these things. I know it's repeatable, therefore it's teachable. The question is, can you endure the sacrifice? And most people can't. Okay? Most people cannot do it. They want to, but they can't. So, if you can't go on the journey hand in hand with me, well, at least we have YouTube where every morning we can get together and slap each other on the back and say, hey, let's keep each other focused. Let's keep each other motivated. Let's keep each other excited. What I do isn't the only way. What you do is probably better than my way. As long as you're successful and happy and we're together, like, we got this. This is awesome. So thank you for being part of the team. Thank you for being part of the Forex.Today YouTube community. If you need more stuff, links are in the description below. I'd like, if you could you please do the little thumbs up thing and then maybe leave a comment on the recording. Today's Thursday, so I will see the live trading group, the swing trading group, 2 p.m. today. And I will see everyone else tomorrow morning. So once again, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.